Good evening. We're going to call tonight's meeting to order, and we'll begin with the approval of the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Andrews and Councillor Prendergast. All in favor? That is carried. I don't know who is this.
It was me.
Are we good now? Okay, perfect. There we go. Was there any disclosures of direct or indirect pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we will rise for the singing of our national anthem, please.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
We would like to acknowledge the treaty lands and territory of the Williams Treaty Nations and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We also recognize that Dufferin County is the traditional territory of the Wendat and the Haudenosaunee and is home to many Indigenous people today. Tonight's meeting is being aired on public television and or streamed live and may be taped for later public broadcast or webcast. Your name is part of the public record and will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Any member of the public connecting via telephone is reminded to press *6 to mute and unmute. Please remain muted until the chair requests comments or questions from the public. As this is a public meeting regarding the Retail Business Holiday Exemption Bylaw, I will now turn the chair to Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. At this time, anyone who would like to speak to this matter may call 1-289-801-5774 and enter conference ID 818-661-57#. Callers will be invited to provide their questions or comments following the conclusion of the presentation. Any member of the public connecting via telephone is reminded to press *6 to mute and unmute. Anyone who wants to be notified of further consideration of this topic, please submit your name, phone number, mailing address, and email address to Clerk's Department at orangeville.ca or call 519-941-0440 extension 2242 and reference Retail Business Holiday Exemption Bylaw. So, oh, my camera's not on. Excellent. So at this time, I will call James Bramley. And Mr. Bramley, if you would like to come forward and share your thoughts, that would be great. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of council and staff. Thank you for having me yet again, providing a presentation. If you bear with me. Okay. Again, speaking today on the Retail Business Holiday Exemption Bylaw. Just a quick overview of what the timeline looks like. What brought us here today was back in 2011, a request by a resident was brought forth to bring forward a bylaw to exempt retail businesses from the Retail Business Holiday Act. And that bylaw was passed in 2011. It was only amended in 2013 to include smaller places of business to be permitted on these exemptions as well. Back in 2024, the OBIA passed a motion to bring this back up to review and ask for some additional days to be considered. So just again, to go a little bit more in depth in the background on this, was back in January 2011, Orangeville Town Council received a formal request from a business owner from Orangeville Home Hardware Building Center, as they sought an exemption from the Retail Holiday Act to allow businesses in Orangeville to operate on statutory holidays. The rationale was to enable local retailers to remain competitive with businesses nearby municipalities such as Shelburne and Alliston, where such exemptions were already put in place. The response to this request was authored by the town clerk on this time. The report outlined the legislative framework and procedural steps required for a municipality to grant an exemption under the Retail Business Holiday Act. It also just detailed the tourism criteria that must be satisfied to justify such an exemption. Under the exemption implementation, the past exemption bylaw is applicable to the entire municipality or to a specific area. In our case, it was applied to the entire municipality of Orangeville. It also defines what a holiday exemption applies to in specific hours of operation, whereas ours is just a blanket coverage on that aspect. Such bylaws must be justified by a tourism rationale, ensuring that exemption supports the development or maintenance of a tourist area. And in this case, they look for 25% coverage for that we rely on tourism to help develop and incorporate within the municipality. Before passing an exemption bylaw, the Act requires the municipality to hold a public meeting to discuss the proposed bylaw, publish notice for the public meeting in a manner determined by council, and allow any person who attends the public meeting the opportunity to make representations regarding the proposed bylaw. I guess, as I stated, the BIA passed a motion back in 2024. I won't read through the entire aspect of it, but as a summary, it was that with the building diversity coming to Orangeville and the big push for tourism and culture coming to our town, they wanted to include or consider Easter Sunday and Good Friday, and then have further consideration for Christmas Day as well. After conducting some research, and other municipalities, similar municipalities such as Collingwood do allow kind of a blanket exemption for all holidays, not just specific ones. They include all holidays that are defined within the Act itself. So looking at analysis in our current situation and comparative examples, as I stated, Peel region, again, being much larger, they do have an exemption to a specific area within Peel, whereas Niagara does provide an exemption for the entire region itself, but on certain days it doesn't have that blanket exemption. But as I stated, Collingwood is one of those communities, again, being a little bit smaller, but has that blanket exemption for the entire municipality and all holidays involved, not just individual holidays. Looking at the strategic vision and priorities that Orangeville has kind of set out is in January 2021, Orangeville adopted a comprehensive 5-year tourism strategy and action plan to guide local tourism and development. The strategy envisions Orangeville as a burgeoning tourism destination by 2026, celebrating for its unique blend of progressive community values and small town charm. 4 strategic priorities were established to achieve this vision: administration and operations, branding and marketing, tourism assets and development, and infrastructure and investments. The plan emphasizes leveraging arts, culture, outdoor experiences, and to attract visitors year-round. To integrate tourism and culture into an economic growth, we adopted in November 2024 Orangeville's economic development and culture strategy, outlining a 5-year plan to bolster the town's economic resilience with 3 priority focus areas: developing a resilient business community, supporting small businesses, and fostering tourism and culture. This strategy recognizes that tourism and culture are intertwined with the cultural assets, acting as a foundational tourism driven that attracts visitors, supports local businesses, and creates jobs in creative industries. With an evolving community and economic landscape, Orangeville's demographic landscape has evolved with an increasingly diverse population and business ownership. This diversity reflected in a variety of cultural events, festivals, and businesses that cater to a wide range of communities, Economic and Development and Culture strategy emphasizes the importance of supporting small businesses, which are the heart of Orangeville, providing most jobs across the diverse sectors and including retail, creative industry. Again, to leveraging central assets for visitor engagement, Toronto's downtown area with its unique selection of independently owned businesses and creative assets serves as a central hub for our tourism. The town's central location and proximity to the Greater Toronto area makes it an appealing destination for a diverse group of visitors. And downtown's vibrant art scene, cultural festivals, and historic charm contribute significantly to the town's tourism appeal. So to conclude, what we're looking at, the community is evolving. Orangeville has experienced a notable growth in tourism driven by its rich cultural offerings and natural attractions. The town's demographic landscape has become increasingly more diverse, influencing consumer needs and business operations. The OBIA resolution, the Town of Orangeville Improvement Area board passed the resolution advocating for the review of the town's retail business holiday exemption bylaw. And comparative insights, as I mentioned before, Collingwood and smaller municipalities do have already these exemptions set in place and are operative. With a review of the different municipalities and what the options are to this, we kind of came up with 3 different options: is to amend the current bylaw to permit retail businesses to be open on Good Friday, Easter Sunday, and Christmas Day, as per the motion made by the OBIA. Option 2 is a broader option that staff is more inclined to move towards, is amend the bylaw to retailers to be open on all statutory holidays defined under the Act, effectively removing the mandatory closure dates. Option 3 would be to maintain the status quo as where we are currently, which would exempt that retail businesses are not permitted to be open on Christmas Day, Good Friday, Easter Monday, and New Year's Day. Are there any questions or feedback to this presentation?
Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Brown. I guess there's no questions in the gallery. Is there anyone on the line at this time? No questions online. So is there any questions from council on this matter? Councillor Andrews, Councillor McIntosh, and Councillor Stevens. Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you, Deputy Mayor Taylor. Mr. Bramley, thank you for your overview on this. And more of a comment than a question that I have. From an observation point of view, you have highlighted quite clearly, the progression of where this started. What's remarkable is I remember the owner of the Home Hardware too, as well, who actually put this forward. Here we are in 2025. Things have changed dramatically in our community, so much so that, the timeliness of this is Easter Sunday was just last week. And for those of us that were in the community, we saw a number of people who were kind of milling about who really had nothing to do. Not to say that they weren't celebrating Easter, but there were a number of people in our community who were not recognizing the holiday. As an example, Deputy Mayor Taylor and I were also at an event called the Vaisakhi Festival. And our South Asian community was celebrating and also, acknowledging respectively those of us that recognize Easter, but at the same time, here we're also recognizing a celebration that coincidentally fell on Easter Sunday. And one of the side comments was the fact that it was difficult for some of those that were attending who wanted to gather some items for that festival. They were fortunate to bring some of their own food, but it was one of those side conversations that kind of is reflective of the encumbrance that exists right now. And I think where I'm going with this is that we are in 2025. We have a diverse, growing community with the intent of also supporting our tourism component, which again, coincidentally, I sit on the EDC committee. And this has been spoken about as one of the strategies, which was very clearly identified that, we're trying to move things forward in a specific way. And I feel that if we continue with the existing bylaw, it's going to pose some challenges. I think that, it's open for the business owners to determine if they would like to open, and that is their prerogative. But at the same time, if they want to succeed, and all of them, I think, do, here's an option for them to consider. And I think it's the one that we have to consider as a council moving forward. So more of a commentary than anything else. But Deputy Mayor Taylor, I think that, you saw exactly what I saw at that one example. And I think that these are the times that we have an opportunity here to correct maybe, a little nuance that's existing within the current bylaw.
Thank you very much, Councillor Andrews. Mr. Bramley, would it be possible to go back to the 3 options or that you had just for reference and we could, there we go. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Councillor McIntosh, you have the floor.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Question, I'm wondering about Christmas Day. What was their rationale for being open on Christmas Day? I can't imagine there'd be a lot of business done on Christmas Day.
Thank you, Councillor McIntosh, through you, Deputy Mayor Taylor. Through the motion, it was just another date to have considered. The details and provisions behind it were not provided. I know in other municipalities, the rationale is that with, again, a diverse community, not all residents are celebrating Christmas Day as that celebrated holiday, that it's no longer the day where everybody is off celebrating. We want to ensure that businesses that aren't celebrating the traditional holidays that are defined within this act, they don't reach the further holidays and other cultural holidays. But we want to ensure that if they don't celebrate Christmas, it's a day to be considered to be open and wouldn't prohibit them from operating on a holiday that they don't recognize nor celebrate.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're good, Councillor McIntosh. No further follow-ups. Okay, Councillor Stevens.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Taylor. Mine's more of a comment, not near as long as one of my fellow councillors, but I do support the second option. I think with the other municipalities close to us opening, it just gives our business a good run for their money. So I would support that.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stevens. Any further comments or questions from council this time? No? Oh, Mayor Post.
Thank you very much. Just in line with what others on my council have said, I think that, as the community continues to diversify and change, and with our focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion, and also our focus on economic development, I think it is crucial that we allow opportunities for our small businesses to recognize whatever days of significant are significant to them in their own ways. So I as well am aligned with option 2 as being a consideration moving forward. I did also, I'll age myself just a minute, but I did also work at Blockbuster back in the day, and Blockbuster was always open Christmas Day. We were the only place that was open, but we were always open Christmas Day. And it was great because I did have staff. I was the manager there, and I had staff who did not celebrate Christmas. So they were quite happy to get paid double time and a half to work to be open Christmas Day, while those of us who celebrated were off, right? So I think that option 2 makes a lot of sense for our community.
Just as clarity, thank you very much, Mayor Post. As clarity to you, Mr. Bramley. So that what we're saying then is amend the bylaw. We're open July 1st, civic holiday, like all these things are covered in this. There's nothing further.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Stevens, please.
Sorry, thank you. What would that mean for our in-town businesses, such as Alder and the library and things like that?
So again, this would be referencing retail stores and retail businesses where these are for sales for like selling of goods and products, whereas we don't fall under that exemption nor this act.
Okay. Councillor Sherwood.
Yes, through you, Deputy Mayor. At first, I wasn't too thrilled about having not remaining closed on Christmas Day, because my thought of is it's such a significant cultural celebration, but then my mind does tell me that not everybody celebrates Christmas. So I will be supporting option 2.
Very good. Councillor Prendergast.
Thank you. Like my colleagues here, I will also be supporting option 2. I'm a fan of letting our small businesses decide what's best for them. I'm also very aware that we are a commuter town, and perhaps on some of these holidays might be the best occasion for families to visit some of our small independent stores. So, let's let business decide.
Okay. This is probably unfair, but CO Smith, maybe I can just ask you, would the town support this through some sort of social media campaign, again through economic development, to let other municipalities know that we were open? And like, how will others know if we just do this? You'd hope that others would come. That's what I.
Yeah, absolutely. If council at the time they decide that gives us direction to proceed with one of these options. If it's number one or number two, we certainly make it well known in our broader community to keep that tourism person coming to our community.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, so we're looking for someone to make a motion, and I'll throw it over to you, Councillor Andrews. You went first, so I'm wondering, did you want to make the motion for option 2?
That is very kind of you to do so, Deputy Mayor Taylor.
I can't do that?
No.
Why not?
Through you, Deputy Mayor Taylor, this is just a public meeting, so this is just to receive comment, and then this will come back to a council meeting for decision at a later date.
Proceed as is.
There's a motion on the agenda that it's just to receive for information.
Okay, that's fine, Councillor
I
Andrews.
didn't say that I was in fact in
You
favor
did,
of option.
and it's irrelevant
I
now
know,
because
I know.
we need to go with the motion as it's written in the agenda, that the report PM 2025-003, proposed amendment to retail business holiday exemption bylaw be received for information. Would someone like to make that motion? Councillor Andrews, yes. Councillor Stevens, second. All in favor? Yes. Okay, very good. Mayor Post to resume the chair.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Taylor. With that, we will move straight into bylaws. The recommendation is that the bylaws listed below be read 3 times and finally passed, which is just a confirmatory bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Council of the Corporation of the Town of Orangeville at its public meeting held today, April 28th. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Sherwood and Councillor McIntosh, all in favor? That is carried. And a motion to adjourn. Councillor McIntosh and Councillor Stevens, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.